Didn't have a phone in high school. Like just super humble beginnings. We were dirt poor, and I think a lot of people come from that. And so like, when you get a good 9-to-5 job, that pays the bills and a little some, maybe you can have fun on the weekends. Like in the Polynesian community, that's the American dream.
Yeah.
They've made it and they're fine. They're content. Like
they got enough to pay the bills.
Exactly.
They got enough to mix on the weekend with your boys, and then you're done.
Exactly. Yeah. And so, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with contentment as long as you're happy, right? And that's the true currency, in my opinion. And that's real success, is what is the measurement of your happiness in your life. And
let's dive into it, Lamè.
Cool.
How are you, bro?
Dude, I'm excited to be here, man.
Good, dude. Absolutely. We got introduced through Evan. I'm super, when he was telling me about your Airbnb stuff, your real estate, everything, and Turo. By the way, you got to talk to Enrique about Turo, dog.
Okay.
But I think the question I want to ask you first is just, like I'm Hawaiian, you're Polynesian. I think the question that I always want to dive into is like, how has your background and your heritage helped you be successful in business and apply that to business?
Dude, I love that question. Because it's really important, especially the Polynesian community. So I'm full Tongan. Both my parents are full Tongan. My grandparents are immigrants. And that's really not that far from the island, from the motherland. You know what I mean? Like my parents are first generation American. I'm second generation. So I think because of how close it is, there's been that holds a lot of weight in what we do. Right. There's a saying in Tonga, it's, we inherited God, and Tonga, and everything that we do is for those two things. And that's kind of, honestly, everything that I try and do in business has been by way of just like, dude, we came here for a reason, man.
Mm-hmm.
We burnt our ships when we got here for a reason. And so it's been a huge influence, man. It's been a huge influence. I think about it all the time. It's at the top of my head.
Yeah.
So,
and what, with all of your companies, cause we'll get there eventually, but the point of the podcast is to kind of help you give you guys a platform, like the guests, a platform to share their story.
Yeah.
So when you, approach business, right? I see a lot of Polynesians who want to get out there and start a business. And sometimes it doesn't work. Right.
Yeah.
What do you think is the most important thing? Because, and I get this is for everybody, but this is special to you and I.
Absolutely.
So this episode isn't for everybody, right?
Yeah.
But dude, what do you think people miss when they, Polynesians specifically, when they go out into the business world, or what lessons do you want them to learn, or what things do you see man, if you did this, you could do, it could be a little different or better for you?
Yeah. Really good question. I think a big problem is our greatest strength in Polynesian communities, our greatest weakness. And that's that we're hella content, right? That is by far.
We're just shoot
chill,
yeah.
And people love us for it, right? We're known for it, but at the same time, we lack ambition. And we come from very humble beginnings. When I grew up, there was only two genders, and
all right, let's go. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, and it was you were disciplined by a belt,
Mm-hmm.
and you weren't scared of hard work, right?
Yeah,
we all shared a room. Didn't have a phone in high school. Just super humble beginnings. We were dirt poor, and I think a lot of people come from that. And so when you get a good 9-to-5 job, that pays the bills and a little some, maybe you can have fun on the weekends. In the Polynesian community, that's the American dream.
Yeah.
They've made it and they're fine. They're content.
They got enough to pay the bills.
Exactly.
They got enough to mix on the weekend with your boys, and then you're done.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with contentment as long as you're happy. Right. And that's the true currency, in my opinion. And that's real success, is what is the measurement of your happiness in your life. And I think a lot of Polynesians have, I think there's a fine line, right? There's a lot of them that I think have been just really content and they're okay with that. But I think on the other side of that fence, it's man, there's more, and that's where I've been. And that's how I see it, is man, I'm thankful for the lifestyle that we live, because it's better than what I grew up with, my parents and grandparents, uncles, aunts. But at the same time, it's like now I'm kind of getting to a place where I'm like, man, we're more than football. We're more than cement. We're more than construction. We're more than Delta. You know what I'm saying?
My grandpa was construction. It's GC whole life.
Honorable,
Yeah, yeah. I think what's interesting about what you're talking about is the fact that like when you're that first generation immigrant. By the way, like I'm Hawaiian, so my grandpa, born in Hawaii, like that's just hard work, right? Like that.
Yeah.
Because Polynesians work hard. That's the crazy, right? Yeah, that's the other thing. It's like they just work. I mean, they just work. Yeah. My grandpa was like, work hard. When my grandpa first heard work harder, not smarter, he was like, that's stupid. Just work. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. He was like, that's stupid. Why don't you just get your ass to work? And, but cool. when you have those first generations, those second generations coming in, I mean, when you compare it to like Hawaii or Tonga or Samoa, and you look at that, of course, your parents over here are just like, dude, we have enough. We have a good job.
Yeah.
There's nothing going to happen. This is perfect. But, and then you get to the second generation, like you and I, or your third generation, right? And they're like, okay, that was cool, but we're in America. Like now the dream is how do we get further? And so I think for a lot of like the second generation America, third generation American, you know, they're like you, right? Like, all right, how do I get a little bit more? Because that was cool for my parents.
For sure.
But like now we need to like turn the dial a little bit.
And you understand that picture too once you become a parent, right?
Oh, dude.
Like, you know, and that was a big perspective change for me is when I had my daughter, I was like, oh, this is what people mean when they say they sacrifice for their children and they want their children to have more than them, right? And I think you're doing a disservice to like everybody before you, like your grandparents, the pioneers of your generation, your parents, if you're not standing on the shoulders of what they've built and
trying to like, keep
going further.
Going further. Because I feel that because in some aspects, it really is about how you can honor that legacy and like pay homage to the people who came before you and like pave the way and like just keep going. And I think the disconnect, at least what I've seen is like, the mindset goes to the generations, but not how to implement the mindset like, you know, we are hard workers. We're very resilient. We're, you know, very much like family and community, but like, what does that mean into furthering the success of our families?
Right? Absolutely.
So, because, and the reason I love talking about this, especially why I wanted to have you on was because you have your nonprofit.
Yep.
Specifically to help educate Polynesian entrepreneurs.
Yep. Absolutely.
Which I think is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and that's a huge like why for me is just giving back to the community. And, you know, I think you hit on an important part too. It's like hard work has always been ingrained in my community, but what's changed is the definition of that as it pertains to making money. Like, what it looks like to make money work hard is so much different today than it was 15 years ago.
Right.
I mean, we're in the days where you can pick up a phone and you make six figures. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And all you do is make calls.
Exactly.
I've done it before. Yeah.
Yeah. And so like, it's just, you know, and our community loves cultures, and that's for good and for bad. The bad being like, you know, we aren't innovative in what that hard work looks like, right? For a long time, like our opportunity coming here was construction, and then it evolved into football and the sports opportunities. And somewhere along the lines, we didn't innovate, or we got lost in,
or we thought that's like, or like I think what I thought was just like, that's all we thought we could do.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, why don't I, like people were like, don't reinvent the wheel, but like, no, man, we were supposed to pave new ways. Like that's what our heritage is.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, and I think about this all the time. Like, you think about our great ancestors, the very first ones that came to these worlds, these new worlds, like they knew nothing and they came with nothing, you know? And so like, I could get and understand why just buying your first house and having a job that pays the bills and allows you to have fun on the weekends, I get why that would look like that would be such a good thing. You know? Like, it's like, like comparatively to, you know, we're dirt floors.
Well, but our grandparents, that was them breaking into a new path.
Exactly.
And so that's not where we're supposed, you know what I mean? Like have to go and like
Correct.
build on that. You're like you're saying, yeah.
No, and that's it. And that's what I've aimed to do with the nonprofit Raise the Tide. Doug Fiafia is a good friend of mine. We were both the ones that. Do you know Doug?
I know of Doug.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And he's a big community leader, and and so that's our huge mission. It's a big why for us. So.
Yeah. It's like, well, I think there's steps, right? I think especially as like growing up, so my mom is Hawaiian, my dad is Russian. Okay. So that's why I like the way that. Somebody's watching this and be like, why is this dude saying we talking about Polynesians? You know what I mean? You can put it doesn't matter how much milk you put in tea, it's still tea, right? So anyway, I think like I get trashed all the time.
Show them your middle name, bro. Show them your middle name, dog.
Like, you're just walking with my mom.
Yeah.
One thing I remember, because my mom is a different color, like she's brown, right, darker than me. And I just remember telling my friends like, "Oh, I'm Polynesian." They're like, "You're lying. We're gonna get you flying." And then my mom and grandpa walked in, and they're like, "Who is this?" I was like, "That's my mom." Yeah. You guys thought I was lying. Yeah. But no, dude, I really love. I think one of the things that I love too is just raising awareness in the Polynesian community about like, you can be an entrepreneur and investor. One of the people I really look up to is Rob. Yeah. With Washi.
Polynesian.
He owns his own patent.
Yeah.
He went through all of that work to literally invent something that no one ever does. And then I'm like, that's insane. Yeah. And that's what you can do though. Like we don't have to be limited, like you said, to some of these things. And not that it's a limitation, just that it's like, you go from one thing to the next.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. No, and I absolutely. And I think we often undermine like the impact we have generationally when we do tread new water, right? Mm-hmm. And when we do discover new things and push ourselves, because I, like you said, right? Like coming from the islands, like buying a house, that was a foreign thought.
Yeah,
right. And when they did it, I'm sure they were like, "Man, this is incredible! Like we've made it, right?" Because they did, right? And they did everything that they knew as best as they could with what they knew. And it's just a message to us of like, hey, we got to keep going.
Keep going. Yeah. Don't let up.
Exactly.
You got it.
So
what was the story of you starting, Rise the Tide? Like, what was the catalyst for you to be like, from it to be like, oh, this is a nice thought and it'd be cool if someone did this, to be like, I'm actually going to do this. Like, screw it, I'm going.
So really, I mean, honestly, I'm going to shout out Doug Fiafia here. Cause he was kind of the one that I would say was the one that held the original thought and idea. And then I remember we went to lunch. This was like about a year ago. And we just started really kind of talking about ways we could give back. And the way that really triggered it was we saw how much value we brought each other. Because Doug himself's a very successful entrepreneur, owns a construction company, does investments as well. And we had just started, me and him were connected in Houston a few years back. And when both our families landed here in Utah, we just connected after some time, and it had been a good relationship. And, I consider him now one of my best friends, but we started to see that and like recognize kind of things in our community. That's like, man, why don't more people think like this? Or why don't more people have access to this? And then it was just like, why don't we do it? Why don't we create that platform?
Yeah.
Right? And that was the birth of.
What did you want to give Polynesians specifically access to?
Really to each other, especially in the realms of entrepreneurship
by the way, that's when you say that out loud, it's crazy because like we're like Polynesian, like we had a connection, but like when we hopped on the call, like we'd never seen each other. Right. Yeah. So like the fact that like we already are so connected, but we lose that. We get comfortable. Yep. Like you were saying earlier, like just content, like, if I wanted to know him, I could know him. Yeah. It's like, no, but actually like,
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It's just crazy when I hear that. Cause I'm like, we are connected. We're so connected.
No.
But we don't know about it.
Absolutely. And that's the mark of the Polynesian is like, we just, my dad used to always tell me that Polynesian isn't a race. It's a state of heart. And like, I love that. I think that's
beautiful.
Yeah. I think there couldn't be a better definition of, the heart of the Polynesian Islands. And there is a connection there. And one of the best things that I've loved about like this whole Raise the Tide movement is, Because honestly, when we went into it, I was thinking, how can we build the community? Because like my initial thought was like, man, there's a lot of people that I think can be taking next steps.
Mm-hmm.
And we're still building on that foundation. But what I also found was that there's a lot of us in our community that are actually doing things, and for whatever reason, we're not networking or connecting.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
crazy.
And that's where that was like the huge connect was. I was like, man, there's actually, the Waldorf in Park City, that's owned by a Tongan family.
Oh, like the franchise?
Like that specific hotel.
Yeah.
There's only 13 of them, and Kaloa Wolfgram and his family own that. Wolfgram Capital owns that, and I never knew. Like that's a
holy shit.
Yeah, there's only 13 of those luxury hotels.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And the Waldorf is insane. And the fact that you can even get being in the franchise world like I am right now, the fact that like you could even do that is just insane. Like
Correct.
People don't understand that. Dude.
What it takes
to even be like, not even to be like, because you could be like, I want to own a Waldorf, but like but they'll be like, and they turn down people with
stupid money.
Exactly. And they'll be like, nah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a Joe Rogan interview where it's like, even if you were cool, like if Joe Rogan was like, nah, like that's the kind of thing that Waldorf is. I didn't know that, bro. That's insanity.
No, and that was a huge like eye opener to me. And I think the big thing was like, why are we not serving each other? Like, why are we not like networking? Why isn't there more resources of Polynesian entrepreneurs? And granted, we don't want to be an exclusive community. That's not our goal.
I get it.
But more than anything, we want to highlight really the strengths of our community to each other and to the world. And it's best suited when we can do that as a group, right?
So, one thing that I've really leaned into with the culture we have today, just in general, is like representation matters.
Yep.
Like, could you imagine a little Polynesian boy or girl being like, holy shit, a Polynesian looks like me from where I'm from, owns a Waldorf?
Absolutely.
Well, fuck, dude, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, that's all I need.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go.
And that's right back to my point of like, I think we forget the impact that we give really to future generations and all the family around us when we start to do things, right?
Yeah.
And for so long, it's been in very specific fields, which was like cement, construction, and then football, sports. And now it's just, we've been here too long to not take advantage of, the land of opportunity.
Yeah.
Right.
And to really like, just go, man. I used to be in like different industries where I would see like come across Polynesian families and stuff. And I was just like, and I was always trying to be like, hey, no, like, don't do this, like do this with money, like in loans and stuff and financial lit. I think that's the piece that I have always, it doesn't matter if like it's Polynesian specifically, but like, that's the piece that I just see is missing in a lot of like everywhere.
Yeah.
Right. Like, how did you learn? Because you have over like, what was it? 100 doors on Airbnb?
Yeah.
And you got Turo.
Yep.
That you can't be stupid with money and do that.
Yeah.
So how did you learn financial literacy?
Really good question. That was, I think it was a combination of, I think growing up and having a certain mindset, which is save and Dave Ramsey. And, and that's, and I think that's a good mindset to have for a certain time of life and for maybe certain people.
Yeah, sure.
But it really wasn't until I started to just kind of challenge my thought process of like, man, like I have all these people telling me like in my community, like what I should do with money, but none of them actually have it.
You're right.
You know what I mean? It's like, they're all telling me to save, but like nobody has money that's saving. You know what I mean?
Well, there's a difference. I think what's cool about Dave Ramsey and this whole thing is like, there's a difference between personal finance and business finance.
Absolutely.
There's it's not the same. Like I would never tell somebody to go personally leverage $100,000 to like live life.
Yeah.
But if you were like, we're a business entity, we're going to leverage 100 G's to go buy 4 or 5 doors.
Yep.
That's totally different. Cause like that is not, that's asset-based lending. That's asset-backed lending, which is not the same as a credit card.
Yep, exactly.
Or a car or whatever. Right?
Yeah. And really you start to, especially when you jump into business, especially real estate, you learn that debt is a very powerful tool.
It's just, it's leverage.
Exactly.
It just helps us get to where we need to be. And then, and it, some people have, I mean, it's a risk score.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day.
Yep.
So I agree with you.
Yeah. And when you talk about risk too, I mean, one thing that my background, I think really helped like me in business is just the idea of risk in and of itself. When you come from a background where, I shared a bedroom for all my life, I never had nice clothes, and we were happy. Like we figured out how to be happy.
Yeah.
Like that, having that mental like mindset is a very powerful tool in business, because at that point, what is risk?
Yeah.
And if I lost it all,
I'd be happy
where I grew up.
I'd be happy.
Exactly.
I think that's, dude, I think that's such a good point where when you're able to be like, look, dude, we can be happy in a 1-bedroom studio apartment with our family. So the question isn't then, what if it goes wrong? The question is, what if it goes right?
Exactly. Yep.
Which is not the same question.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And it really is a powerful like tool to operate under that premise, because then you can navigate, the ups and downs and the roller coaster of life of entrepreneurship specifically.
Well, right? I mean, one of the things that I love just about, this conversation is like, when you're fighting somebody, the worst person to fight is who?
Yourself.
Well, the person who has nothing to lose.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Dude, I don't want to fight that guy.
Yeah. He doesn't boxing all the time.
He doesn't care about going to jail. Yep. He doesn't care about what happens to him after this.
Yep.
I'm out, dude.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So when you're that guy in business, I have nothing to lose, because I'll be happy if this works. I'll be happy if it doesn't work. That is the paradox of control. That's when you just that's who wins.
Yep. and I attribute that wholeheartedly to my background, because the Polynesian people are just naturally happy people.
Yeah, we got it, dude.
Yeah, content in our circumstances,
Yeah,
which is a good and bad thing, right?
Yeah. Well, I think I think the way that I defined that was the difference between being content and being complacent.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like complacency is like knowing that we need to get better, but not caring. And then content is like content is knowing that we're going to get better, but we're cool in the moment. Like we know we got the path and we're going to be happy while we're on it. But we know that like that's the mountain.
Absolutely. No, that's a good clarification. So,
but you're right though. There's a lot of people who are just complacent. They're just like, dude, I don't. And I think a lot of that just comes from the fact that like, I empathize a lot with that, especially in the Polynesian community, because you don't want to like lose everything that your grandparents or parents gave you. Like you don't want to lose that, right? But it's also like I don't know if you read the Bible, but it's the parable of the talents.
Yeah.
The person who didn't use them and just buried them lost it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You had a guy come back, get with one and only get one, and he had more than the guy who buried it.
Yeah.
And the guy who buried it had more.
Yeah. No, really. It's, and I think to add to that, like, I think we also forget that like we come from, again, my grandparents were immigrants, meaning that even going to the grave, I don't think my grandparents ever understood banking, investment, or
right
and how to leverage it. You know what I mean? Like they just don't know these things. And so, and that was part of like Doug and mine's mindset as we started to like raise the tide, was like, how can we bring some of these concepts of money and investments and leverage that, some of these families that have been here for, years or decades, that have generational wealth, they've just understood those from a very early time. Whereas we're now barely starting in America. And so we're just having to learn, and I think we forget that. It's like we just came from, like, our grandparents didn't know. So what do my parents didn't know, what do you expect them to teach us, as much as they knew. Right. Well,
yeah. And I think that's also where, like, I've seen a lot of like people just in general, and this is like a general statement of like, just get mad. Like, why didn't my parents do this or that? I'm like, dude, to them, that was it, bro.
Yeah.
So like, of course they wouldn't, they didn't teach you because they were it. That was it for them. And that's fine, dude. But like now learn about money, learn about leverage, learn about how to set up an entity to absorb that leverage so that because I think the coolest thing about that is like setting up an S Corp, paying yourself a W-2. You don't have to do the same because business and personal are different.
Exactly.
Your business can have all the debt and you can be debt free with a savings if you like, or you can do whatever you want. Like when you know about money, doors open up.
Yep. Yeah.
I got to talk to Chemo Mac about that. He's the founder of Mobetas. And dude, he had some knowledge about money too. I was like, damn, dude, why don't you? Every week I text him. I'm like, dude, you need a podcast at least for our community to teach us about this stuff, dude. Because it's not fair. Like, dude, you're crazy. But no, tell us more, dude. Tell us more about your mission with that.
So, Raise the Tide is, our whole premise was we wanted to specify it specifically down to entrepreneurship. And so a lot of the people that we bring on speak to different resources and different strategies and things to really, the whole premise of it is, the rising tide rises all ships.
Yeah.
And that was where the name came from. And our whole idea is like, if we can continue to give value, free value, it's a true nonprofit. None of the board members get paid. It only works by way of donation. If we can continue to give free value, naturally it's going to raise the tide and all ships will rise with that. Right. But it's been crazy, man. I mean, it's not that old. This will be our third major event. We've had 4 events total. And we have over 500 RSVP. We got Governor Cox coming.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah. Keaton, a lot of dogs. So
what do you want the Polynesian community, people who show up to that, what do you want them to get?
I really want them to act. I mean, I just want them to
do it.
Yeah, just go do it. It's funny because our people we were blessed with the gift of aura and heart. Someone call it mana in Hawaii, right? We really do resonate well with people, and people are naturally drawn to us.
Yeah.
And to me, communication and trust is the currency of business.
Yeah.
If you can just learn to get, if you have that, you have a one up in any industry, in my opinion.
Absolutely. 100%.
And so for me, I'm just man, I want to give people, because there's so many naturally talented Polynesians that have a lot of skills that will just lend itself to any business, but they just lack really the knowledge and resources of how do I start the business.
Well, yeah. What road do I take? Because you're totally right, dude. I love the community because it doesn't, dude, you can just go talk to any Polynesian, man. And it's an amazing thing. Even if nothing comes out of the conversation other than you met each other, everybody remembers that. Cause you're right. Very charismatic, very, very knowledgeable, very smart. And you just, dude, cause I just tell my Polynesian friends who want to go, brothers and sisters who do that. I'm like, just go start selling, dude.
Yeah,
sell something.
Exactly.
Sell something. Yeah. When I was selling cars, I tried to put together a whole Polynesian team.
Oh, really? Okay.
I was like, because we're loyal.
Yeah,
loyal. I remember seeing this old.
That's a great idea, actually.
I remember this old Hawaiian guy. Yeah. There were 3 times this happened to me. Everybody knew I was Polynesian, and the first time it happened, there was an Officer Ikolu in Woods Cross. Big dude, just big Polynesian guy. My little coworker, he was white, real scrawny, went up to him. The officer was like, he's like, I'm not wasting my time. and then he comes up, my salesman comes back. He was like, this guy's really scary. And I look at him, I'm like, that's Polynesian. I walk up, I'm like, what's up, bro? And he goes, are you Polynesian? I'm like, yeah. He's like, okay, cool. We want that one. I'm like, sold. And I remember the other Hawaiian guy came in, just giving my guys just a hard time. I walked up there. I was like, what's up? I was like, what island are you from? He's like, Kauai. I was like, oh, my grandpa grew up there. He's like, oh, great. I want this. Dude, we're just loyal to each other.
Oh, it's true.
If you know what I mean?
Oh, man. Yeah.
I know there's a Polynesian guy over there. I don't need to talk to anybody else. I don't give a shit.
Yep. That's true.
You're my guy.
Yeah.
And we're just, cause so why wouldn't you want to be in more business with each other? I already trust, we already have that the same blood in us that we're just like, I know you already.
Yeah.
Like, let's go.
Yeah, exactly. And
I
so,
really did. I was like Polynesian team because like
that's awesome.
I would sell the same Polynesian, like they would come back and they would bring their family and they would bring their business friend and they would just all you need to see is him.
Yeah.
And the only why? Because he's Hawaiian. And that's it.
Yeah, he's like, all right, I want that one.
Right. But that's, I mean, I don't know if that was your experience.
No.
Yes, I don't know. Yeah.
And it's again, it comes back to like we're very connected to each other, right?
Yeah.
And we're very connected naturally to the roots and the culture. And so like that's a huge, and there's just so many benefits to it. So
but yeah, get into business. I just tell people sell, dude. Especially if you're like, if you got it, dude, you got it. And most of, like I'm saying, most of us do. We just like, we got the gift of, the mana. Dude, when you said that, I was like, yeah, that's it, dude. Because we're just attracted to it. And it's why not, dude? Why not use it?
Yeah, especially in business, right?
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm excited. I'm excited for the next 10 years for our community. Mm-hmm. And speaking on Raise the Tide, like I just want to be as much of a help in that as possible, because I think there's going to naturally be just more big leaps and bounds of progression in our community, of examples, and I just want to give as much as I can to help that cause.
Well, like I mentioned earlier, I really do believe representation matters.
Yeah,
that's why I'm big. Also, like I have my daughter, so I'm big into women empowerment.
Yeah,
it's like especially like Polynesian women empowerment, like because like you got to be able to see yourself in that. Like vision is everything.
Yeah,
you know, and if you can see yourself in that, like that's the catalyst. And so I think what you're doing is like amazing, and just making sure that you keep top of mind with everybody and just you know what I mean? Just stay in front of people, because all it's going to take is somebody just seeing that. And like, that's all they needed to start. It's like, if like Lamè can do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
Lala can do it, I can do it.
Exactly. No, we have our benchmarks in the NFL, right? And like Polamalu is people don't know that, that guy just had so much reach on our community. Haloti Nata, a lot of these like OG guys, you know what I mean? And so, but now I'm just excited to be, I would just love to have more. And and I got to shout out my dad. So my dad's name is Lamè Kinikini. Okay. Lyle Milton. He's the youngest of 6. My grandfather was a farmer. He farmed corn in Idaho.
Cool.
That's where my dad's from, where he grew up. When my dad was born, he was delivered by a physician named Lyle Milton. And my grandpa named my dad, who was the youngest of 6, Lyle Milton, after the physician, because he told him one day, you will be a doctor. And, here we are decades later. And my dad was one of the he was one of the very first, Tongans, full Tongans, to graduate from a university in America with an MD.
Wow.
So he's a practicing psychiatrist in Oregon. And, I share that story because like my dad was a very important piece in like helping me see like, hey, we're more than like what the community or even our own community has put us in a box of. Yeah. Right. It's like, we're more than sports. Like my dad, he's not an NFL player. Like he's not, he doesn't do construction. He's a doctor, you know? Granted, I thought at one time I wanted to be a doctor, and I soon realized like I'm not a doctor. No, I'm glad I'm not.
Special part. Yeah, that's a special. But you know what? So you know what I love about that story. That's probably not on straight, but I love this because your name means so much, and that's one thing Polynesians like got right. Yeah, is like your name, dude. Yeah. Like your name has power, and that's other cultures too. I'm not saying it's only Polynesians. Yeah, I'm just saying that's the one thing that I grew up noticing really quick. Yeah, because I think this is just Polynesian culture, but like I was given my Hawaiian name by my tutu. Okay, and and my mom gave my kids names. Yeah, you know what I mean, like because. And our names that like they were given to us before they were born, and they mean something, and we carry those. And like, so like your dad's name, I think that's just that gives me the chills, because I'm like, dude, just if you ever get lost as a Polynesian kid, just look at your name, write it down on a piece of paper. Yeah. That's so powerful, man. I love how you said that. And it's true. I mean, I just was so thankful to like, cause my dad,
his story was he was a social worker, and he was in the social worker world when he had me, my older sister, I'm the second oldest, and then my younger brother. So there was 3 of us when he decided to go back to school to become a physician.
Wow.
And then between going back and finishing, he had my other 5 siblings. And so
you grew up with 8?
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah. So this guy, like, he did it the worst way possible. Like, heavy debt, like hell kids, you know, like super no family planning, nothing.
Yeah.
But he got through it, right? And I just am so thankful.
That's so Polynesian, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
8 kids, like that's all you can.
Yeah, you just send it, dude.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But I'm just so thankful. I count myself being so lucky being one of the older ones because I saw it all.
Yeah.
Right. Like I saw when like my dad would come home and we have nothing to eat. So we eat rice for the next 2 weeks. Right. We eat sashimi for the next 2 weeks, top ramen because he just needs to get to the next month's paycheck. Right.
Yeah.
And it was crazy because by the time I graduated high school, that's when he graduated his residency. And then I left on my mission.
Okay.
And my eldest mission, I went to Ghana. And then I came back. And in those 2 years, like it was a brand new family.
Yeah.
Right. Because they came home and they had money. And
that's
so,
right, dude.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so
my wife went through that too.
And so,
I go,
oh yeah. So it was crazy.
You're like, bro, you did not grow up the same way you did.
My other siblings, I'm like, man, y'all don't know.
Yeah.
I was like,
that is an interesting conversation. Yeah. We've had to do that, but like, I think what's really cool about that is like, dude, what made him want to go back and be a physician?
You know, I think, you know, to your point, I think a lot of it is, you know, you look at your life and maybe he saw his name and he saw the purpose of why he was named that. And it's like, you know, I need more, you know, I keep telling him he needs to write a book and I need to interview him.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I would love to ask him that question now. It's like, looking back, why did you, you know, but
because that would be crazy, bro. Mm-hmm. I went back. I took a year off after I got my bachelor's, and then went for my master's. And I have 2 kids, and I was like, dude, this is crazy. But like, yeah, I just remember like, you know, my middle name. I just remember looking at that and being like, it doesn't matter what the world says about an MBA. Like that, I need to do that for like me.
Yeah.
So I didn't care. Like it has not done me any good. Like everything, all my success is not because of my MBA. But I was like, dude, and so it's just really fun to talk to people in our community because it's such a different interview with me. Like, obviously you're really successful. Obviously you've made it and you've got these things. Well, and obviously you probably see like you've got so much more to do. Right.
Yeah.
But it's just, you know, for our community, it's so important for people to see like, and any community, if you're Polynesian, if you're Hispanic, if you're Asian, whatever, right? If you're white, I don't care, woman, it doesn't matter. Yep. You just need people. You need to see somebody who like makes it. And what's I think a really good strength in the Polynesian community that I highlight if I ever talk to people who asked about that is like, we are also like a crazy accountable culture. Like, you know what I mean? Like, especially like Hawaiians, right? Like, dude, I mean, like when we were going through 2020 and all these things, and I was having my friends go like, about all this, you know, all the government stuff or whatever. I was like, dude, Hawaiians literally had it stolen.
Yeah.
It was like, give it to us or we'll kill everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And it was like, even though all of that and Tonga same, Samoan the same, because like, we're just like, dude, the shittiest things could happen to you. Yeah. But we've still got to get it done. Yeah. And I think that is such a beautiful trait. Yeah. And it doesn't excuse anything that happened. Yeah. I don't think anything was justified. Yeah. But I think that's one thing that I grew up always holding on to was like my grandpa never made an excuse. Yeah. And he beat the shit out of me when I did. Yeah. Yeah. So when I was on my mission, I would meet with Polynesians and I'd be like, look, dude, yes. And that's when I adopted that saying that like excuses taste so good because they're so true. Yeah. You know what I mean? Buddy, yeah. 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 But I mean, and so I want to make it super clear, like that none of it was justified, but I also think it's the beautiful thing that came out of it was like, we Polynesians are in general, like very accountable. Yeah. Very like, nope. Yeah. If anybody's going to do it, it's going to be us. Well, again, it's because, you know, we're so close still to like our ancestry that came here. Mm-hmm.
you know, like, and that was a very hard life. And so
Yeah.
I always think to myself, like, you know, and I'm not getting political here in any way,
Sure.
but like I served a mission in Ghana, West Africa.
Uh-huh.
That was a soldier's mission, right?
Yeah.
And there are so many people, I feel like it's a movement now, you know, of people, there's a trigger word, right? It's oppression.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a huge word that's thrown around here.
Mm-hmm.
And with my experience of not only my grandparents, where they come from, how I grew up, and then going to Africa and living there for 2 years, like, go live in Africa for 2 years and then come back and tell me what that word means.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Imagine,
It's like, there's no impression here. They're really like, you know, granted, you know, there's certain circumstances.
You know, we got to fix. But, but I agree with you. Yeah.
For the most part, it's like, you can control your life here.
Yeah.
You know?
A lot more than you could have.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
No, I'm the same way. I say the same thing. Like I go get lost in Russia without a passport.
Yeah. Exactly.
You'll be all right.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's right.
Yeah.
Anyway, dude, I hear you. By the way, side note, when did you serve in Ghana?
2011 to 13.
Oh, dude, you were there. Maybe not. I had two friends serve in Ghana, but I don't think they were there.
What's their names?
One's name was Tanner Elliott. Oh no, I don't think he served in Ghana. Actually, never mind. He might have served. I can't remember. And then I had another one. His name was Emmett Scott. But anyway,
okay.
I think because and then, but you know what's so funny about, you know, doing something like that? I served in St. George, bro.
Okay. Wow.
I came from Iowa to St. George. But I think you just, and I have you ever heard of the Book of Mormon musical?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They did it in Ghana. Like that was
really?
The whole story. So here's the
storyline.
So obviously the Book of Mormon musical is they make fun of Mormons. I thought it was hilarious. Take everything bad that happened on your mission and throw it into an hour Broadway, and that's what the Book of Mormon. You know what I mean? But one of the things, like, they were interviewing the creators, Trey Parker and Matt Stone, and one of the reasons they were like, why did you want to make this? And they grew up with Mormons around them, right? And he's like, we wanted to show the story of, like, in a funny way, using Mormons as the butt of the joke. That, like, you learn everything growing up. Like as LDS kids and as, like, people living in America, you learn all these things, and then you get all these tools about how to live a happy life. And then you take these two fresh 18-year-old kids and send them to Ghana with all those tools, and then they get there and they realize very quickly that isn't even kind
it's not life.
Nope. They're like, and all the tools that we had that were going to save everybody are like, holy shit. That's not. You know what I mean? I remember talking to my sister who was going to Houston, and I was like, she was like 19, and I was like, you think you're going to go to Houston and you're going to talk to a guy about tithing who can't even put food on the table for his 5 kids, and you're going to tell him to pay 10%? You think you're going to walk in there and do that? You're higher than a kite. You better get your shit together before you. But you said, but I mean, like, and religion aside and all of that aside, I just like what you said there about just like, and I think it ties into just business in general. Like, everything you think you know right now
exactly
is going to get so much different.
And there's just more to everything than you realize. And there's always
not as black and white as you think.
And there's always something to learn, you know, student life.
By the way, loved the book. I watched the Book of Mormon with the original cast in New York.
Oh, really?
I thought it was hilarious.
It was awesome, huh?
It was before I started my mission, and then I watched it again after my mission, and it got funnier after my mission. And do you know the story of, like, when it got released? So when the Book of Mormon musical got released on Broadway, first of all, top 10 grossing musical of all time.
I know it was big.
Yeah,
it was on my mission when it came out.
Okay. Dude, it was probably big. They did it in Africa. But no, top 5. It beat Phantom of the Opera.
Oh, wow. Okay. So
that's crazy,
that's
right?
Massive,
but you know what the church did? They took out an ad in the bill.
That's right.
You've seen the play, now read the book. And talk about
fire.
Talk about just like, that's why I love. I mean, okay, I also don't want to get into all of this, but one of the reasons I love this is, like, who else would do that, dude?
Yeah.
Make a play about any other religion right now.
Oh man, yeah,
But I think it's just like we can take anything. And that's also why I love the Polynesian culture, because we can take anything and make it something beautiful.
absolutely, absolutely. And that is the trademark, in my opinion, of a great entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Right? It's some,
Polynesians that got it. Yeah.
It's just somebody that's willing to roll with the punches, and life gives you lemons, you make lemonade, man.
Yeah,
Like, that's just a simple statement we hear a lot, but it's like it's a true skill. To be able to do that.
And then just to be like, dude, like, and we've got the whole, I think Polynesians just got that whole personality, man.
Yep.
Like when shit hits the fan, I've never seen, like when I've been in groups with like in business, or because I've worked with a few Polynesians, when shit hits the fan, I've never seen a Polynesian freak out.
Yeah.
They go, all right, dog.
Yeah.
Is this what we're doing? Hey, you're like, hey, we just did this. It's terrible. And they're like, all right, cool, man. Just start working on what are you doing? He's like, we got to go to work tomorrow.
Exactly.
My grandpa would be like, I'm like, Grandpa, what are we going to do? This is crazy. He's like, I'm waking up at 5, come back here tomorrow. I'm like, yeah, but what are you going to do about the problem? He's like, I'm going to come back to 5 tomorrow. Hey, guess we'll come back at 5. Bro, no, dude, I love it. So tell everybody, you've been more than gracious with your time. I really appreciate you being here. I love the story. Tell everybody about your nonprofit, about your company, where they can follow you, all that good stuff.
Yeah. So, you can find my personal Instagrams, is usually the best way to get a hold of me, Hailame K. And then my real estate company, we didn't talk much about, but Elk Ridge Management. We do all things investment, acquisition, and management in the short-term rental space, so Airbnbs. And then Raise the Tide Co. Is our nonprofit, and we're having our event this Saturday. It's a free event. We'd love to see as many people come as possible. So,
dude, I love it, man.
Yeah,
I appreciate you. Thank you, boss.
I appreciate you, man.